Okay, we're back, and I have all the ingredients for the croquettes here. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about a couple of the ingredients, a few technique-y things. We're going to saute the necessary ingredients. We're going to put them all in a bowl, mix in the rest of the ingredients. Then we're going to take a little break while that chills to form our, and then we'll come back and cook our patties. So let's talk about a couple of the ingredients. One of the ingredients in this black bean, sweet potato, and quinoa croquette dish is zest of lime. Now you can see I have some naked limes here because I've already zested them because I love zest. So here is our already zested zest, and I'm going to quickly just show you how to zest a lime. This is a microplane, made by Graco, G-R-A-C-O, Graco. This is a lime. Organic only if you're going to zest, please. So we take our zester and we put it, I like to use a pretty wide bowl like this. Then we just go 1, 2, 3, like that. You get a little line, 1, 2, 3. You go all the way around. Now you only want to get that outer part of the green part of the lime because otherwise the underneath part is very bitter. Yeah. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for that. I've already zested plenty. Also calls for ground chia seeds. Now it particularly calls for white chia seeds. Now I don't know about you, but I have never seen a white chia seed. Actually I have. In this mix of chia seeds that Mark eats every morning for breakfast, there are white and black chia seeds mixed in. But am I going to go in there and pick all those out? I don't think so. And I looked at the store and I didn't find white chia seeds, so we're going to use black ones. And I've already ground them up. They look kind of like ground pepper. And so we have plenty there, but I just want to show you how I ground it up. This handy, previously used as a coffee maker item, is now our spice grinder and primarily flaxseed grinder. I have a little note on top here for flax, so nobody puts like hot peppers in it because I use it every morning for my flaxseed. But anyway, we're going to just plug it in. And then we'll throw our chia seeds in there. I'm just going to throw a few in there. You can just get an idea. So here's our chia seeds going in. Boop, 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 like that. I usually hit the top like that, and then they're all ground up, just like that. Now, you wouldn't want to put nuts in here or like try to make peanut butter in here because it would get all gobbled up in there, and you don't want that. Now, a quick hint on cleaning this. Maybe I had flax and then I want to do some cumin seed, but I want to have flax the next day and I want my cereal to taste like cumin. So I throw in any whole grain to clean my grinder. So throw the whole grain in there, zap it, dump it out, and it's like fresh as a daisy. So there we go. All right, so now we're going to go turn on our pan. Is it plugged in? Let's take a break. Okay, we're back, ready to make our croquettes for tomorrow's celebration. So I have an electric skillet here. This is a Salad Master brand, and I've preheated it a little bit. We're going to put just a touch of water in. We got a little sizzle, that's good. And then the next ingredient is our whole cumin seed, not powder. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Let that cook for, it says for a couple of minutes, a minute or two. Stirring, because you don't want it to burn. Then it says lower the heat, which I can already smell that. So I'm going to lower the heat, and then I'm going to add, let it cook just another little bit. Then we're going to add our onion and all the rest of these ingredients, which I'll talk about while this is finishing up here. So we have chopped onion. It calls for serrano chili, but I didn't have any and I forgot to get it yesterday. So I'm going to use some jalapenos from a jar in the refrigerator. Some chopped garlic, some oregano. Now I used not Mexican oregano, but the other kind, which escapes me what kind that is. It's Italian, I think. Anyway, and some allspice, which a quarter of a teaspoon of allspice seemed like it was not very much. But when I look at it in here, it looks like a lot. So I must not think little of small amounts of items. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and put our onions in. So I'm really smelling those cumin seeds. Ooh, my eyes are starting to burn a little bit too. Add our chopped garlic, or yeah, here's our garlic. Now I'm going to use this water here just to make sure things don't burn as I'm sauteing. The recipe calls for coconut oil or water. Now, I'm not going to use coconut oil because it's saturated fat. It's no good for us. And we don't eat oil in general anyway. So why would I use coconut oil, which is even worse? So I'm going to use a little bit of water to saute and just everything will be fine. And it calls for, I think it's a tablespoon, half tablespoon of serrano chili. I'm going to use all of that, of the jalapeno, because this group tomorrow, they're a spicy bunch. And they're going to want to taste this. And I'm competing with coffee lamb at this event. So my dish has to be as good or better than the coffee lamb to get good points with my friends. Alrighty, so we've got our oregano, a teaspoon of oregano. We've got our allspice, 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice is all that is. I can't believe it. Looks like so much. Okay, so it says we're going to cook it for 8 to 10 minutes until it's, the onion is very soft. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of water in there. Lower my temp. And I will put the cover on it. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes to mix it all up. Okay, we've got, the onions are soft. I'm just cooking off the last little bit of water I used to deglaze the pan and get the little bits of flavor up off there because I didn't want them all stuck to the pan and not going into our croquettes. So I'm going to turn the skillet off and I'm going to transfer the mixture into this big bowl. I'm going to use the spatula for that because I think it looks a little more doable. There is a lot of flavor there. Mark mentioned that it smells really good. He was sad that he was going to have to wait until tomorrow to eat them. But then I reminded him that he gets to taste the tester at the end. So he is happily helping me now. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is mix the rest of the ingredients in. Then I'm going to clean the skillet and we're going to come back after I've got everything mixed and we're going to cook it in here with a silicone pan to avoid using oil to fry or using a big oven to bake one croquette. Alrighty, so let's put the rest of our ingredients in here. We've got, oh, we didn't put our black pepper in, so I'm going to do that now. This is a cool little guy that we like, a little pepper grinder. So much fun, but you have to be careful because you grab it and it goes off on its own. It's kind of crazy. Then we've got our cup of mashed cooked sweet potato. I just baked these in the oven last night. I did a lot of prep yesterday. I cooked my quinoa, my black beans, and my sweet potatoes yesterday, so today I just throw it together. So I just took them out of the skin and gave my dog Dory the skins because she loves potato skins. And we've got, it says a can of black beans, but I cooked them myself. And the recipe says to actually pat them dry, to rinse, drain, and pat dry. So I put them on paper towels, patted them dry. So I think that's about as dry as we're going to get. But these are ones that I cooked myself in the pressure cooker yesterday. So those are going to go in. Not very elegantly, but nonetheless. Alrighty. Oh, were they supposed to be? No, they were not supposed to be mashed. That's good. 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa. I used a mix of red and white quinoa because I think it's pretty. There's also a dark black quinoa that's really neat, but I didn't have any of that, so I went with what I had. Then we've got the white chia seeds that we discussed earlier. So here it says 1 tablespoon of ground white chia seeds. Now, what this is used for is to hold the burger together, or the croquette together. It's kind of like a burger, really. And she mentions in the recipe that if you don't want to use chia or you don't have it, you can use flax or you can go without it. They'll just be a little mushier and they won't hold together quite as well. So I'm just starting to mix things a little bit. That calls for some more sea salt, but I already put some sea salt in the original mix and I'm not going to put any more. If somebody really wants it, they can add it themselves when they're eating it. We're going to add our lime juice, our freshly squeezed lime juice. I'll tell you, I have had my romance with jarred lime juice, and we separated ways. I just don't like the flavor. It tastes like you could taste like a tin can or something in it. So I have some in my pantry if anybody wants it. Okay, so there's our lime juice. Now, calls for our zest, and it says only 1 teaspoon of zest, but I'm telling you what, I love zest. So I'm going to put like more than that. Now, if I mush it down really far, maybe that would be a teaspoon. But you know what, I'm just going to put it all in. Because like I said, this group is adventurous, spicy. They like a lot of flavor. Got our lime zest. I'm going to put some cilantro in. We could either put it in or on top when you're serving it, she said. I'm going to do both. Because tomorrow, the group is not going to be like sitting there putting a little bit of cilantro when they've got 10 things to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and put some in here. But I'm going to save a little bit to put on top of Mark's tester. So it'll be pretty. Then we have a tablespoon of extra virgin coconut oil or olive oil, but we're not going to use that. We're going to use our silicone pan in here instead. So I'm going to mix this up, mix it all up, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator to chill for half an hour. And then when I come back, we'll have a clean electric frying pan, which we'll use for a little roaster. And I have to tell you that this is an experiment that I'm doing with the silicone sheet in there. I have done it with yams before. Hopefully I won't wreck my pan, but I won't wreck this. I might wreck my silicone, but we'll see. Normally what I'm going to do for tomorrow's group is I'm going to use a cookie sheet with a Silpat liner on it instead of using oil. And then they'll pull off really nicely off of that. But I didn't want to heat up my whole oven for one little tester. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. I'm putting some vinyl gloves on so that I can make my little croquettes and shape them with my patty pan, with my hands, shape the patties with my hands. But we're just making one today. So I just put a little bit in the freezer to cool it off while I washed my pan. So now I'm going to show you I have a silicone pan that's like a little cake pan inside my cooker. I'm going to shape a croquette. I'm going to make it fairly thin because I'm a little nervous, frankly. This is an experiment, so I don't want it too thick or it might not get cooked through. I did taste the batter, so to speak, and it was pretty darn good. So there we go. I'm going to put it on there, and we're going to see how long it takes to heat up. And I don't think it'll really brown because there's no oil, but then I'll flip it over, and when we're all done, we'll come back and see what Mark thinks of it. Okay, so we had the great unveiling a moment ago, and I forgot to turn my microphone on. So I'll just summarize it for you. Here was our pan, very little sticking to the pan. I cooked it at 375 with the silicone pan in the roaster for 15 minutes on the first side, then I flipped it, and 10 minutes on the other side. Easily came out, put on the plate, made it nice and beautiful here. I put a little bit of our cream, which has come nicely thickened in the refrigerator, and put some flowers on there and a little cilantro. So let's see if Mark likes it or not. Come on over, Mark.
Betcha I will. Whoa, it looks so good.
All right. So I want to know, really, I mean, you know, it's not crispy.
Really? No. It looks fabulous.
Can I have a bite?
No. I hate to share it. So good.
The chipotle sauce on top adds a nice creaminess to the chewiness of the patty. I'd say it was a success.
Boy, that's a great recipe.
Next time I make this, I'm going to double it because you don't have to go gathering all those ingredients twice. Double it, and I'm going to try freezing it and see how they freeze. It's not a burger patty because it's not firm enough really for a burger. It really is a croquette.
It's more like a consistency of maybe the old meatloaf that I used to eat as a kid.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, it kind of falls apart, so you can see. And I think I'll make extra sauce because people might really like lots of that sauce tomorrow.
The sauce is wonderful.
So I want to thank my dear husband Mark for helping me with this video.
Happy to do it.
And I want to thank Darina Burton for her recipe. You can go to plantpoweredkitchen.com to find more of her recipes, and just leave out the oil if you don't want it. She always gives oil-free options. Thanks a lot. See you next time.